Maybe, Ryan, for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, as I come today, God, I want to thank you for letting us be here today. Lord, please open our minds and our hearts and help us to make this decision. Lord, look over us as we come together this day. As I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So nice to be back in our town hall again.
And we'll put some lights up here too, so we'll have a show of all heads, so we don't.
Yeah, it's been hard, I can hardly see my face for everything. Roll call, Shirley McCall, Councilwoman Shirley McCall.
Present.
Councilman Robert Gansby.
Present.
Vice Mayor Nicole Williams.
Present.
Mayor Tanja Brown. And, let it be noted that, Councilwoman Shirley Aldridge is absent. Now, any, add or deletion or amend to the agenda?
No.
Okay, maybe make a motion to accept. There's nothing to be added to the,
I move that we accept the agenda as written.
I second the motion.
okay, it has been moved to, there has been motion and second, that we accept the agenda as is. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? A motion carried 4-0. New business? None. Now we're going to discussion of the items, and I will turn it over to the town attorney.
Okay.
You want it?
Well, we can both do it.
Yeah. Okay, so the first item that we have is an interlocal agreement between Hamilton County, Florida and the town of White Springs, Florida for fire and rescue services. In November, the voters of Hamilton County voted to impose a 1 cent discretionary sales tax, surtax, and have that money go towards fire services. Hopefully, the idea is to have a countywide fire service program. And in looking towards doing that, the way it is set up, you have, was it like 1.4, the numbers may or may not be solid, but it was around 1.4 million that was allocated for the county. And then you had 3 municipalities, Jennings, Jasper, and White Springs. And when I looked at the numbers, these were projected numbers, it was about 70,000 was gonna come to White Springs. And so what Hamilton County has asked all of the incorporated municipalities to do is to basically turn over their surtax to the county so that the county can then develop their plan to provide a countywide fire service program. And to that end, there was an interlocal agreement drafted up for each of the municipalities to consider. And the other part of this, which is probably Mr. Garner could better explain it, but if you accept the money, it's not like you really get the money because you then have to turn around and reduce your ad valorem taxes, right? And so you're really, you get the money and then you have to reduce your taxes to get additional taxes. So it's really not of a great benefit. But if we turn over our money to the county, then we don't have to reduce our taxes. But then the county can look at reducing countywide taxes. Did I get that right?
We understand it.
Okay. So the catch is that this is not an instantaneous, we give them the money and we have fire service. And so it's about a plan that will need to be implemented. I believe we've got some numbers here. You want to go over the numbers and kind of where things stand and what it would mean?
Well, White Springs has averaged $135,375 for fire expenses, fire and emergency control, emergency fire rescues over the past 5 years, 24, 23, 22, 21, and 20. And the county has averaged $637,614, which is an average of $772,989 between the two entities for strictly fire and EMS service. This looks like that the surtax, hopefully, if the estimates are right, and we don't know how many people are driving up and down buying gas and all that stuff, but it looks like that we probably have about $968,000, a little over, in money coming to the county. And of course, in anything you do, there's always an administrative fee for whoever who does administration and so forth. So the county would take 2% of that, 968, and that would leave $949,257 to be distributed between the county and us. Hamilton County would get $783,042, and our share would be $166,215 that would go to the county if we take them up on their offer. And so it wouldn't have to be another budgetary item or something. That would be, we hope that's what they'll do it for. That's what we're talking to them about. And then let them have use of our equipment in the building and so forth here. So, and there's some goes on that, some, they'll have to pay us some, and we'll pay some maintenance and insurance. So that's what it is. We would have to dig into our budget for that $165,000 goes to the county. It would be from the sales tax that they're expected to get. But again, it's not here, and it's probably going to be middle of next year before that all gets here and it gets delivered to the county and split out, and we go through all the agreements and so forth. So what we have tonight is a kind of an interim thing that interim agreement that we would like to offer the county to see if they take it so we can get something here now. We don't have to wait 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 to get some fire service and ambulance service here. And this is from the chief of the fire service has made a statement, but he like he told me, I'm not speaking for the county now. That for the county commissioners, they'll do it. And they said if we can get somewhere between $7,500 and $100,000 now, we think we can get you some service. It may not be the full service we want, but at least we get you some service in White Springs. And so that's what we'll be talking about here in a minute, about a proposed agreement with the county to see if we can step that up while all this other is going around. And once the other surtax comes in, then we will agree to disagree and have fire service like we're supposed to over it. It's all out there, but the future's got to come somewhere. Yes, ma'am.
And these figures that you gave, is Jennings anywhere in these figures?
Jennings and Jasper, as of this time, have decided not to participate.
What?
So here's my big concern with this. This doesn't actually add money to anybody's budget. What it does is it determines who gets tax breaks. So this amount of money, the 166, is our entire ad valorem taxes. That is all the property taxes we pay to the town. So that's 6 mils, right? 0.6%.
We as citizens.
We as citizens. If you own a home in White Springs, you are paying 0.6% of the assessed property value to the town on their budget. So if we were to take this tax break, everybody who's paying city tax would not be paying city tax anymore. basically. If we give it to the county, we would all get, whatever, 0.1% or 0.1 mil reduction or whatever it ends up being for them off your county taxes. So it would be a substantially larger rebate for us as property owners in White Springs to not give this money to the county. The downside is it would lock us into spending $166,000 a year on fire, which, our fire situation here is pretty terrible. To some extent, it would probably be better for the county if we took it and then just handed it back to them, because then they wouldn't have to write their mills out. And then the people who live here would save a lot of money.
Yeah, we're in a tough position in that there was a meeting last Thursday, and at that meeting, we were advised that we only had until September 5th to make a decision about this because they have to set their tax rate. So it kind of put us under a gun to, do something before there's a plan that is a, full county-wide fire service. But the next item on the agenda, and it may be appropriate to talk about this and then talk about the next item before you actually vote on the first item. Because they kind of tie in together. Mayor Brown? Circle out her hand up, I'm sorry.
Oh, Cheryl,
I have a question because one of the things, and I don't understand this very well, but you will. One of the things that they talked about at the meeting in Jasper was that if we keep the money ourselves and lower the people's property taxes, we lose so much money out of our general fund that will lower our ability to pay our everyday bills. Can you address that?
So we're already spending $200,000 a year on fire prevention. So this would basically take $166,000 and make it so that we can only spend it on fire prevention.
Where's the 335?
Well, that's the average of that.
That was our average over 5 years. If you look at the average over the
Oh, I
last.
see. So this one was, so this year we spent
No,
676.
that's the total. So last year, our last audited year, we spent 163,482.
Okay.
The year before that, we spent 159. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, we were $50,000 under our budgeted amount for those years. This year, our budget amount is $200,000.
So we have enough money to put $200,000 to the fire, which we can change from the budget over into the general fund if we do this agreement?
No, so the only benefit to us if we do this agreement is we're not committing to spending $166,000 on fire. So like if we get rid of our fire department tomorrow, then we can have that money we would be spending on fire reallocated to wherever. If we keep the surtax money, we are obligated to spend it on fire prevention. So if we just keep the status quo as it is now, then we would basically just be getting a big tax refund for our city tax that we're paying now and taking that portion of the budget and allocating it to fire.
How many cities, with that 160-something thousand, you're gonna have a fire department we can spend on that, that's all I've heard since I've been here, is, the dependability and part-time people and all. Personally, and I agree with you 100% with what you said about the people, but for the public safety, I feel that if we can work something out with the county, so that town of White Springs is not responsible for fire service and all that, and every time they have a call for White Springs getting answered, the county, and then we'll have an interlocal agreement, hopefully, maybe some enforcement in there, I don't know what you'll wind up being the final deal. In all my years, unless you have a dedicated group of volunteers in a small town, And like I've been fortunate in a couple places where you had people with, and the last place I had 6 of my employees, and city employees were volunteer firemen. And if the fire call goes on during the day, they jump in the truck and take off, and then at least 2 or 3 of them respond immediately. And at nighttime, we had the state workers and the prison workers that came back in and always had 5 or 6 that respond at nighttime, to a paging system. So, it's a double-edged sword either way, but I think overall, I would rather play the Department of County and try to work something out temporarily if we can. We need some help.
So
We can't continue going like we are.
That's true.
our fire situation is terrible, I agree with that. But what if we had more of a focus on EMS? It's cheaper, it pays for itself, it requires less manpower.
You know, we can't afford to, we'll have to buy an ambulance and all that stuff. We get the EMS service, we'll have to, and we get a medical service where you can charge for, because paramedics that go out on the I-10 and all that, with the other wrecks and all, that's where you get your money from. Your paramedics should go out every day, they get medical. A regular EMT can't do it, they can go and they put a Band-Aid on, but that's about all. You can get billed for that.
And we can't afford a full EMS unit ourselves. Okay,
No,
so
I
what
think-
is your recommendation?
My recommendation is, listen, see if they'll buy on this interim agreement, some type of interim agreement, to at least get something here better than we got. Take the money we got now and spend it, whatever we have to do, that's something happen, and whatever. But I feel that personally, from my past background, I feel that it's something we shouldn't turn down. Now, we may get into it, it'd be the worst thing ever happen. I can't predict the future, but
There's nothing being offered now, there's no plan. They're not giving
Well,
us
I know
anything
that.
for this money. We're just giving the tax breaks to the county, basically. Even something as simple as guaranteeing us a certain amount of the local option fuel tax for the next couple of years would be fine with me. But right now, we're just giving the money.
They're the only ones
I don't look at
responding
it,
now.
I don't look at it as a low reason. I mean, we need somebody down here.
Yeah, but they're not offering us somebody down here. They're asking us to sign over basically the tax breaks to the county. And in exchange, they're trying to lobby in the House or wherever in Congress to get it so that the surtax can be changed so that they don't have to take it out of ad valorem. So right now, until that happens, it's just who gets the tax break. So maybe the right answer is to give it to the county, because I'm not a big fan of throwing good money after bad. It's not going to do us any good to light 200K on fire every year just to get tax breaks. But right now, they're not offering us anything with that money. It's just
we
give us money.
We still have that long interlocal agreement with that prepared for the 3 cities now to be just us in the county apparently. So we'll have to be some critiquing of that, word in that agreement that we'll have to do with the attorney but I still feel that the best way to go, based on what I've seen, is let's go with the county. Yes, ma'am.
So if we go with the county, can we at the same time come up with an agreement on what they could do for us?
Mayor Brown, maybe it would be a good idea to talk about the other
The other
proposal. Yeah.
So table this for a minute?
No,
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what, but.
all of it
it all
goes
ties
together.
The whole
ties
thing
together.
runs together.
So we're gonna go to
The
bid.
interlocal agreement between town and White Springs, town and county.
So this is like in addition to what we're already discussing, to make
Right.
a
This
whole
whole
picture.
This is asking them if they will do something temporarily, interim, and give us some help here. And we proposed, I think, $75,000 to $100,000, which is, like I said, I don't see anything, even with surtax, I don't see anything at least to mid-year, next year. So we can't wait about 9 months, 6, 8, 9 months for some type of fire service. If I have to be like, use a hood and stuff.
Want me to go over the details of it? Okay.
Oh, we're gonna go over the details? Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna do that now.
So this is simply a proposal at this point, and what we would be doing this evening is voting whether or not the town council should, and our town manager should proceed further with this proposal. So we, of course, the town owns a fire station and desires to have 24/7 coverage for fire protection and EMS. And it would go into effect, again, this is our side, we haven't negotiated with them, although there is interest, I can tell you that. But, so October 1st, we would have permanent fire and EMS manpower at our fire station. We would still own the fire station, they would basically lease it for like $1 a year, and they would be responsible for employing and training and supervising all of the firefighters and volunteers and EMS. We would lease them, of course, the equipment, and the idea would be that we would have then, you know, more coverage for fire and rescue. I think they were looking at the possibility of at least one full-time fire rescue person, and then we have the part-times, and then bringing in some of the EMS as well as volunteers, and then giving them $75,000 to $100,000 a year to help offset the costs. And then that way we would have a more true fire service and a rescue service.
And this will last only until something happens with surtax.
Until there's a full plan in place. So this is more of an interim agreement to get us to that point.
So right now, we're agreeing to give them the money from the tax and the additional $75,000 to $100,000, and leasing them the equipment and stuff. We will continue to pay the utilities. They're gonna pay insurance, or we're gonna pay insurance.
So that, the way it goes is that the town would be responsible for utilities, routine maintenance on the building since we own it, insurance on the building, and insurance on the vehicles, because we own the vehicles as well. But the county would be responsible for routine maintenance of the vehicles and the equipment and making sure that they're kept in operational condition. Any structural repairs or anything like that would have to go through the council as far as for the actual building.
And we're already paying $163 for salaries and benefits and utilities. So how much?
Utilities not included in that. That's good
Utilities
stuff.
not included in that? What is
In
$163?
that multiplied by fire,
Right. And then you
it's
have
in the budget. The
insurance.
budget we'll be talking about, the city budget.
Yes, sir.
There's 200, I think 208,000, 206,000 in there. That's marked for fire service that can be used for this. Because we would be.
So the 100 is lowball to offer them.
No,
No, they,
okay.
remember they mentioned that.
Can
Okay.
I go ahead and explain? Let me explain this thing. Since we have been trying to figure out something dealing with the fire department and their lack of response, lack of action, I've been having conversations with different county officials. After the meeting last week, I spoke with Mr. McCoy and I spoke with Mr. Lane. And it costs over $350,000 to man a fire department 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It don't matter. Whatever it takes for them to be able to do their job, it's at least $350,000. We're offering, they said if we can come up with something to offer them, then that would be an incentive for them to go ahead and bring them here. We'd already had the discussion about the EMS. Just been trying to get the MOUs together, work out the fine print, this, that, and the other.
You need to find MOU?
Memorandum of understanding. Oh, yeah.
And that means this paper?
It's like an interlocal agreement.
Okay.
So, instead of us, because we cannot afford to pay $350,000, which if we decided to take this on ourselves, we would have to come up with at least $350,000 to pay salaries, this, that, and the other to a full-fledged fire department. We can't do that. So the idea that we had was to offer them something. At least, okay, half of the 350 would be like 175. We're offering them up to $100,000 with cash payable in quarters, and by us doing the insurance, maintaining the insurance, leasing them our vehicles, all of these amenities that they're getting, us paying the utilities, is going to be over $75,000, $80,000 a year, which means that's something they don't have to pay as far as operating the fire department. And it's like we're contributing close to $200,000, but only spending actually $100,000 plus what we have to pay anyway. Because either way, we have to pay the insurance on the vehicle. We're not giving them our vehicles, we're gonna keep our vehicles, because you never know what's gonna happen in the future, what blessings we may receive. We're gonna keep our vehicles, we're keeping our fire station. It's going to retain the name White Springs Fire Department. Instead of just giving our stuff away, we're gonna keep it, they're gonna lease it. We're gonna maintain the utilities, it's our building. All of these different services is going to add up to well over half of this 350.
And I may say, before it's all said and done, we'll put the numbers there, so you know what the insurance and the projected maintenance and everything is. We can know that before we sign off on anything, but we need to talk first.
And so you're looking to sit down with the county before October.
So we can get a meeting.
Can I ask a favor, can we hear from the people in the town?
No, they not. Just hold off on
Okay. Anything else,
I mean, that's the basis
That's
of it.
basically it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's basically it. You gotta prime a pump. You gotta give something if you want something back. You get what you pay for. You pay for bad services, you're going to get bad services. I feel like whatever we have to do to protect our citizens and to make sure they're safe and their well-being are our first and foremost interest, that's what we have to do. That's our job. That's what we were here for. That's what we were elected for, to look out for the citizens of White Springs. So, that's.
I might just say that the county commission is meeting at 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. And we can kind of agree on something. I will make sure that I have a chance to at least approach this with them and have a chance to talk to Land and a couple of them ahead of time maybe, but I'll make sure it gets presented. And from then on, we'll see what the county says.
I mean, I feel like we're giving away our negotiating position before we even put an offer on the table. How? Because this is just a tax break and it's obviously something they want. It's a bargaining chip for us. I know personally I stand to lose about $1,100 if I give this money to the county.
How?
Because I pay a lot of taxes. So this,
Oh, I see.
But you're gonna have to pay them anyway.
not it. Our bills go down to 6 with the same
Okay,
tax.
even the money that you're talking about, the thing that everybody keeps failing to mention when they're saying allocate this, allocate that, the funds that they actually want can only be used for fire and rescue anyway.
Which we're spending.
They're going to spend it because they're going to man our station. This other interlocal agreement is only temporarily until the state can decide how they're going to go forward with this surtax stuff that they're going through. I feel like it's worth it. I don't care what it is. If it's gonna protect
Yeah, but they got
us,
citizens.
then that's what we need to do. I mean, not being funny, but we've had several fires here lately, and we've always had to rely on if anybody made it there in time, which most of the time they have not. We've had a death. One fire had a death in it also because of our lack of fire protection. That's not on them, that's on us. They pay us these bills. They paid for this when they moved to this town to have fire, police, you know, these things that is their right to have to live here. To live anywhere, you should be able to have fire, police protection. So,
I see you.
whatever it is that we need to do to get them here for now, we work out all of the other semantics later. But this is the main thing that we need to do to get them here, and then you go ahead and negotiate, because we're already negotiating. We're not paying them $350,000 of salaries to operate on a station here. We're only paying a fraction of that. And most of that, we're already paying anyway. We're paying it now. We'll actually be spending less. Now, the surtax issue is still up for grabs. Nothing is written in stone until they decide what's gonna happen with the state. This is just so they can go ahead and figure it into their budget. If I'm not mistaken, was that not the conversation?
Yeah, that's what.
Okay,
That's what they said.
this is not like they're just gonna take this right now. This is depending on what the state does. But if the state does favorably, then they're gonna go ahead and go with this agreement. If not, then our bets are off the table. So either way,
That's it.
we're gonna break even, because what we're putting out, what you're bringing in is what you're putting out anyway.
Yeah, but there's no commitment on this, right? They haven't even seen this. They don't know this exists. They watched the
No,
video
no,
of
no.
this meeting.
They know the
This
one
will be
that
the
they
first time
wrote.
they hear about it.
No, they wrote the interlocal agreement first. And Leslie, you went off of the one that they originally sent, right?
There are two separate ones. The one about the tax, of course, that was the one that they wrote, and then the one that, I wrote was about the interim services.
Right, so they know
But they've
about
seen
it, it's just that they
Yeah.
can't
They've seen it.
finalize on it because they're still waiting on what state legislators are gonna do, and they don't go into session until January.
Cheryl,
I have a question that piggybacks off Robert's is, okay, if we go with this agreement, the county property taxes go down by 1 point something mil.
Which agreement are you talking about?
The 1
discretionary,
cent,
the first one.
the 1 cent
Oh,
thing.
yeah, okay.
If we don't go with them, what do the town taxes go down to? We have to adjust our millage if we accept that money, correct?
If we do, that's fine.
Huh?
we got to put it in fire.
All right, but I'm asking, what will, and this affects our homeowners, if we reject giving the money to the county, that means the town has to lower its millage, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But I do know that if we lower our millage, how much will that lower our taxes? And it will, right?
Because we spend more than that, even if we have any type of fire service, we'll spend more than that 135 or 165.
In that meeting, didn't he say that it was probably gonna be a few, maybe about,
Girls' questions about the individual property owner.
What,
Not the
6% of it, okay, what are you paying, say you pay $50 in city tax, I don't know, I'm just saying. And 6 meals is $50, so divide 6 into 50, you get what? $8 something?
Yeah,
Each meal.
Our ad valorem taxes are about 145K a year. This would save 167, so it actually be, it reduced the total city ad valorem taxes to $0. So nobody would pay city taxes anymore.
But
If
that
we
means
sign it
that
over to the county,
But this wouldn't be enough of money to operate the entire fire
is
department.
it possible that we can, as part of this process, just give 100K of that to the county, because this would be our fire expenses? Like, this becomes an allocation issue. This does not become nobody's making money. There's not getting extra money, we're not getting extra money. It becomes a slide rule. Do the landowners of the county save more on their taxes, or do we save more on our taxes?
Can I
You say the same, but you pay the same as the county does.
Yeah, but it'll concentrate that 160,000 into White Spring landowner hands. Doesn't mean that's right, I'm just saying this is what would happen.
I don't know, I interpreted that a different way.
Me
Well,
too.
but I think what Councilman Gansby is saying is, the town keeps the money, right? You're, like, we don't give them the,
1%.
yeah, we don't give them our 1%, is that what you're saying? So that's step number one, right? And then if we do that, then the townspeople don't end up having to pay their town millage. But then we take the same money that we've got and give that money to the county for the fire service. Is that what you're kind of?
That's kind of where my mind is. We go with this plan, right? We take that 100 grand or whatever it is, we give it to the county. This would be a good Richard Powell question, because I don't know the accounting on it. I'm assuming that would work for allocation towards fire expenses. Then we've got the extra 60,000 that we would have to pay for the utilities and the insurance and the other stuff. We actually have to find ways to spend money to actually get up to that. But that wouldn't change on our end. What would change is, instead of getting 1.5 mil reduction in your county taxes, we would get like a 1.35 reduction in the mills from the county taxes, and then a 6 mil reduction in the city tax. So it would be a lot of money for the.
But when you adjust it, the way that they explained it, it's like it's gonna break even either way, correct? Because what you're gonna be bringing in, you're gonna also have to put out. But we will be in a better position because we will have the county to fall back on for these same services. Because the money, is not like you're gonna be able to keep this money and say, oh, well, we're gonna put this over here, we're gonna be able to do this. No, you're only gonna be able to use it for fire and rescue, which is what that surtax is reserved for anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't change budget. And let me be clear, if this was just a case of a bucket of money being dropped in front of us, I would say absolutely give it to the county, because I don't want to be in the fire suppression business here. But that's not what it is. It's allocating the savings. It's basically just tax breaks. Who gets to save more money? The largest landowners in the county or the landowners in Whitesbury? The huge downside, as everyone's pointed out many times already to me, is that it locks this money into fire. Like, if something comes along where we could just totally be out of the fire game, I don't know what this could be, because there's no plan in place right now that this will happen. But if something came along and the county could totally get us out of the fire game, then we're gonna be stuck with money we can't do anything. So yeah, that would be the one downside. But even with this plan, we still have to pay close to 200 grand in expenses for fire, so we would make that up with the money that we get from the county. I mean, at the end of the day, it would actually probably benefit them and us more for us to take the money and for us to then give them the money back.
So do you think if we do not do this original interlocal agreement from them about the surtax, then they're gonna fund us for $100 and some thousand, a job that costs over $350,000?
No, he's saying also give them that.
No.
Yeah, but they're not
But-
getting any
So
extra
either
budget.
way, you're gonna pay them more than what we'll be taking out anyway.
Right now, they have to reduce their ad valorem for the surtax. So they will reduce $167,000 out of the taxes they're collecting and allocate the surtax money to fire. They're not getting any extra money towards fire from this because of the way the surtax is set up. They're trying to fix it with the state so that they don't have to reduce their ad valorem. If they ever do that, we can just sign that money over to them and raise our taxes back up again. But right now, there's no definitive plan for this to happen.
You're not gonna be able to raise them back up. You can only go down with the rates. You can't raise them up, you can go down.
During tax season, needs to be voted on.
I don't think there's a section that says you can't raise, once you lower it, you can't raise it, I think.
Yeah,
That
that was the whole point.
Ever?
No, once you go down, it's down. And that's what it is. You're not gonna be able to, oh, well, we made a mistake, let's raise it back. It's not. Once you do it, it's a done dollar.
But it's only for a period.
No.
Lake City's raising their ad valorem taxes, they're not breaking the law. Like, there is.
Well, Lake City's
Well,
digging in us too.
They're not in this type of deal.
Well, either you
No,
can or you
that's
can't.
not what I mean.
This 1% surtax deal is totally something that was,
No, I'm-
dreamed up helping us.
It's not what I mean. I mean, it's possible administratively to raise your ad valorem taxes.
At a certain point.
Yes, at some point in the future, we can do that.
And what would that, and how far along would you see that happen? A
This
year,
would be
2 years?
contingent on a bunch of dominoes falling that I don't even think are set up yet, so I don't know.
And see, we don't know what the state gonna do either.
Yes, that is a big question mark, but we're handing them over the money like they're guaranteed to let them write it out of their ad valorem. And
This is only,
they're gonna have theirs set anyway, so
no, it only happens if the state does what they said they're going to do.
no, they get, this happens if we sign over the surtax, they're gonna get the surtax regardless of what the state.
And that's only for 1 year, right?
You're almost started collecting in
1
January.
year, yeah.
It's a year, so if it doesn't work out that way in this year coming, we change it again in the end of 26 for the 27 budget?
If we were to sign this and then nothing ever happens, then Leslie, you're probably gonna answer this. If this is a 1 year agreement, then yes, we should be able to turn around and claim it back. But then we're also gonna lose a year of tax breaks.
Right.
He goes in the original.
Yes, so in the original interlocal agreement, if the legislature doesn't change the language, as noted in the agreement, then they are going to repeal the ordinance about the discretionary surtax.
And right now, I don't think the residents is concerned about the taxes, they just want to fire department. Their insurance is higher than what they pay in their taxes, land taxes. And all of, you know, I keep hearing, let the county take over, let the county take over. They just want a fire department down here.
But this doesn't help the county, this just distributes the tax breaks to the county instead of the county.
Okay.
I'm not talking about this, obviously we've got a while to go before we know it, they're going to agree to any of this. I'm only talking about the surtax.
So with the surtax, how much is that gonna make, what are you paying taxes on, how much is that gonna make yours go up?
How much good for what, the city tax or for my entire, I don't have my full. There's, we pay right now 10 mills to the county. We pay, I'm not sure how much, I think it's 6 mills to, the schools. And then we pay 6 mills to the city.
They also something that will remain.
And we might pay some to our management district. If we sign the surtax over to the county, our county taxes will go down about 1.5 mils. And everything else will stay the same. If we do the surtax, we accept it as the town, we're gonna get about 1.2, 1.3, I'm not sure, I didn't do the math, reduction in our county taxes, and we're gonna get a 6-point reduction in our city surtax, our city tax. So it's a substantial difference. The biggest issue is locking ourselves into having to spend it on fire, but we don't have a plan forward anyway, so.
So it may change 15 times before anything gets signed. We talking, but I see, to me, it's better for the city instead of taxpayers to forego this first year of taxes while all this is making out. And if we made a mistake, we made $165,000 save. But if we don't make a mistake, then we've gone to the good all the years down the road. But I think it's gonna work somehow.
One simple question. Like your plan about doing the interim thing, you know, and as far as what Rob is saying, let's not give it to them until it's set that can happen. Because if he's right, and it sounds like he is, and his tax rates are pretty close on, because we all got our tax bill just recently from the county. Why, you know, why sign it over when, you know, the advantages aren't even solid yet? So I say, I mean, this is, why not just concentrate on giving us time, like you said, but if they try to strong arm it, I don't know what to
If we
do.
don't do it now, we don't do it at all, we don't lose
We're
out.
gonna lose out on the possibility.
And then we won't have no fire rescue here, is that what you're saying?
It'll be slim. They'll do the bare minimum like they're doing now.
Well, what if we, if y'all did enter this agreement with them, maybe they could train somebody for
We got all
whatever we
this, that's
decided?
another part of what we got to discuss.
Yes, 'cause, I mean, then we could get a volunteer group up if we had a leader.
Right.
All of this stuff
Yeah.
has to be done before they do their budget. They have a budget hearing next week.
And that's why it's so urgent right now.
Correct. And everybody's missing the point that if the state does not do as they claim they were going to do, the ordinance is null and void. It's just Xed out. If they do, then that is more chance for us to get more people operating here as a fire department.
So it's not something that's set in stone, like, it's not like a 5-year contract, it's like for 1 year.
Correct.
Okay,
Right.
and if we have them maybe train whoever we need to be the leader of the fire department and get volunteers, then we can take it back over? Is what you're saying? If that's a possibility, if you.
It's always a possibility,
Right.
which is why the interim agreement is year-to-year basis. It's
You
nothing,
used to have a great volunteer.
and we can get out at any time with 180-day notice.
So at what point are they going to annul the surtax? Like, how far does it have to go?
They state, the county intends to revoke the ordinance at 11:59 PM on September 30th, 2026, if the legislature doesn't modify.
Oh, so that's the next budget year. So that wouldn't really affect us. So I'm thinking it'd be like February and all of a sudden we got a $80,000.
Yeah, so you're already paying, right, so you're already, your tax bills, it's not gonna change your tax bill that's coming out right now, correct? Is that?
Right.
It would be for the next tax year,
Right.
which means the savings wouldn't be until the next tax season.
Next year.
If we kept the money, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
October.
Yeah.
That'll be next year.
The deadline is they need to know so they can include us in their, whatever they're doing.
They budget.
And the legislature meets January to March
Right.
next year, so we'll know by March. It won't even have to wait until like September, we'll know by March, whatever the legislature decides to do.
Any more discussion on this?
I'd like to do for the citizens before I can vote.
Okay, wait a minute. We got to go to the next one.
We could do, since it's, an important matter, we can do a comment before voting. That would be
Or could we talk
appropriate.
about the program and then do it? So they have all the information.
Yeah, before voting, that would be a good idea, but, and then the comments would only be for those items, and then if there are general public comments, then that would be good.
I like that. Yeah.
That's the goal.
The future, that's the goal.
Okay.
Now, and this has to do with tax.
I'm glad you got it.
Okay, because there are shortages of fire personnel all throughout the state of Florida. I had, straight up, let me go ahead and get, I have been watching this television series called Fire Country.
We all have.
Listen. So watching this program, I'm like, that's a good rehabilitation program for offenders. We have a shortage in the state of Florida with fire personnel, not just here in White Springs and Hamilton County, but all throughout the state. there are shortages with fire personnel in the men and fire department. I had thought of a program based off of Fire Country, yes it was, and it's called Codename Phoenix. You know, Phoenix, she rise from ashes. The plan is to implement a rehabilitation program for people who are going to court, to offset them maybe with a felony, as long as it's not a sex crime, a violent crime, if they don't have any, you know, people get paid on probation and you violate each time. If you violate court orders, you wouldn't be allowed to be in either. But for right now, it's more of an intervention program. We want to pilot here in Hamilton County to give them an incentive to go straight. You know, they have the different programs where they train them in the prison to do, the train dogs, to get their CDLs, drive forklift, stuff of that nature. But we want to start out as an intervention and then work our way to the Department of Correction to train, get people to volunteer for the fire department. If I can see. Okay, the Phoenix program is a plan for offender rehabilitation and volunteer fire department services. The Phoenix program is a community-based initiative designed to integrate nonviolent, low-risk offenders into the local volunteer fire department. This program offers a structured pathway to rehabilitation, community service, and skill development. Upon successful completion of a defined commitment term, participants will have their relevant criminal records expunged, providing them with a fresh start and improved future opportunities. The program goals are rehabilitation, to provide offenders with a meaningful and constructive pathway to reintegration into society. Number 2, community service, to address the critical need for the personnel and volunteer fire departments, particularly in rural and unserved areas. 3, skill development, equip participants with valuable skills in firefighting, emergency medical response, and teamwork. Record expungement, offer powerful incentive for program completion and positive behavioral change. Recidivism reduction, lower the rate of reoffending by providing participants with a sense of purpose, responsibility, and a clear path to a better future. Keep going.
Just go over the headlines over there.
All right. Then it's the target population, participation, selection, and eligibility. Target population, nonviolent offenders who committed misdemeanors or nonviolent felonies. The exclusion criteria is individuals with a history of arson, violent crimes, sexual offenses, or a significant record of non-compliance with court orders. The screening process, criminal background check, mental and physical health evaluation, an interview process, and risk assessment. And then it goes into the program structure and phases. I mean, I can give you all a copy of this.
Can we put this on the website?
But this is something that will help the community in whole. It would help the ones who want a fresh start. That may have made a mistake as they were younger, or you know, got caught up in something in the heat of the moment. But it also provides our community with fire personnel, volunteers, and giving them a new outlook on life. So that's the basis of it.
It's gonna take a lot of coordination with corrections and education and other people.
Judges.
Judges and
State attorney,
prosecutor.
prosecutor.
This is a stepping stone.
Do you see a time frame for this to start?
No, it depends on our other elected officials.
2 years, 36 months.
Say it again?
2 years,
36 months.
2 to 3 years. You got a lot of hoops you have to go through, you have to go through here and bring from there, because you got state, federal, local.
You got local, state, and
3
federal.
years, we have a possibility of volunteers.
That doesn't mean that you have to wait that
Wait
long.
that long.
There are grants out there, in the process of when, Councilman Williams and I were going through a lot of it, there's grants out there. There are a lot of programs, especially for rural communities. And so there's And they have online, the training where you can get certifications. And then from what I understand, Chief Lamb can do trainings and other things. And so there's ways to bring in volunteers before that. I mean, that can always be done. The county
So
has
this
volunteers.
is just great to help the rest of the community.
Yes.
This is just a stepping stone, because the ultimate goal is to be able to do it, all the way to Department of Corrections. Right now, it is just something that we want to do in county with local offenders. They have this thing called PTI, pre-trial intervention. It'll be something similar to that. But they will be focused on working with fire and volunteering with the fire department, for the duration of their probation or whatever.
So can we have the people talk, only addressing the 3 items that we've already talked about on the agenda?
That's the
I'm gonna say
plan.
something about that. The Gadsden County Sheriff's Department has had a small phase of something like this for
Which county?
Gadsden County over Panhandle,
Okay.
the Sheriff's Department. But it wasn't for firefighters, it was for welders and mechanics and stuff like that, where he could have people supervise them at technical schools and all that, to learn trade. And it's worked out. I know over the period of years I've been involved, we've had the inmates that used to come here, work, and I've had 2 that become water sewer operators, and a couple that hired us on the road.
So you've seen a similar program?
It's not called finish, but it's with the same intention of keeping them going back.
And you've seen it work?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
There are only 15 states, correct, Leslie, that have programs such as this.
With fire?
That's what they're all, 15 states have this a fire program similar to this.
Okay.
But
Florida-
Florida does allow diversion programs like this, pre-trial, but it doesn't have one kind of set in stone for this fire.
So we want to be the model to bring it to the state of Florida.
What would the insurance repercussions be for that? I mean, I'm not saying anything major, I'm just saying, we have,
And see, that's another thing, because there's apparently a Florida Volunteer Firefighters Act that provides insurance for, it's for somebody to know more about this, but there's like a Florida Volunteer Firefighters Act that apparently provides some insurance benefits for.
I mean, not only, I mean, you have
Your
So
some,
Mr.
Right.
Lane, Chief Lane is gonna help me like kind of crunch these
and
numbers
that's all really good.
Yeah.
as we go
What
along.
if it's something simple like
You
you
know, because
have,
like a lot of it would be quote unquote no cost, but it'll be a cost. You know, because everything, training and all that has a cost. But
say
it would
we
be
have
on-
someone in town that's responsible for petty theft here and there. Who's to say they come to your program and walk off with a pile of money worth of equipment?
Because if they do, they go back to jail and then.
I understand that sometimes they can move it before, I mean, you have to think about things that could happen.
Right.
That's the reason program, we broke down several diversions.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, it's a
I'm
whole
not saying it's
screen.
not a bad idea.
It's a whole
but
screening
that's
process
the thing
that we're
that
going
could
to
happen.
face first. But when you have somebody who wants to change their life and really want to change, they're gonna put forth that effort to change.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't. I'm
But it's
saying
not like they'll ever be left
something-
alone anyway, so.
Some kind of plan just in case, because only thing you have to do is close your eyes.
But
Somebody
that's
for
everybody.
opportunity. Yeah, everybody.
That's everybody.
So, I mean,
My grandma said lots of honest people.
yeah,
So if they want it, they're gonna get it, but we're going to do everything in our power to screen the people, whether have them screened, not us doing it first.
yeah.
But
I mean,
you
I
know,
try
for the
not to think worst
program-
case scenario and it still bites me in the ass, so.
Right.
But that is a good question for insurance when we
Yes,
get past this.
She like that.
Well, not just.
but
Okay. All for the program, I think it's a great idea. There are some issues that I have. One of them is you're not drug testing them.
Drug test.
No,
Okay. In your outline, you did not say drug test.
no, but I said it's a screening and eligibility process.
That would be the one thing that they would have to be done because any firefighter and police officer is drug tested randomly. So that would be something that would have to be done,
Ongoing.
ongoing.
But it clearly states they will have to have a mental and physical assessment.
Mental and physical.
Physical means-
I'm specifically saying drug. Mental and physical is totally different than drug testing. Mental and physical is, can I do this? Can I lift this much weight? Can I do this? Can I run so far? Can I physically handle carrying a
I get what you're
hose so
saying.
many feet?
But most physicals require.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Can I ask this, in order to be a volunteer firefighter, do they have to go
Yes.
through?
Yes.
Then these would be individuals becoming volunteer firefighters.
The same
so they would have
The
to go
second,
through-
the
yeah.
second part about this is if you're going to have these low-risk individuals in 30 years plus in law enforcement, some of it in corrections, low-risk individuals become high-risk individuals if they're not watched, as if, like Will said. So are they always going to have someone who is their supervisor with them when they are doing this program? And if they offend outside this program, is this program going to be
If they offend
notified?
outside the program, which means they will violate their contract, and then whatever was coming to them to begin with, they will have to go back through the courts, whether they go back to jail or whatever the case may be.
They will never be again allowed to try for this program.
No, it's gonna be rules and regulations, they're gonna be
Okay.
very strict rules.
I get it, I'm asking this out loud, and the reason why I'm asking this out loud is because of my experience with this kind of thing. If they offend again, misdemeanor, minor, whatever, their options of continuing with the program is no longer, it's null and void.
I would say that based on what I read between the lines here, yes, ma'am.
Okay. We're looking at trying to start this program in Hamilton County, which I think that's awesome. Has Hamilton County, Sheriff Creech, the judges, the state attorney, and all of them been approached by
The
this
fire chief
program?
so far is the only one who has this model, because as being on the town council, my obligation first is to my fellow council members and the town to see if this is something they would like for us to embark upon and to.
I would not put it
So-
on the town of White Spring to implement this program. I would put this on the county of Hamilton County to start this program. The town of White Springs has got too many other issues that they need to handle at this point, that I believe that trying to push this program forward and making it successful, we would not be able to do that without the success of and the help of Hamilton County.
Well, Hamilton County is part of this, which is why I gave it to Chief Land for him to look over. It is also things, there are many steps to this. It's not like this is something that we're going to start in December.
I get that.
It's
And
lots
are we going to also ask for volunteers from, just not, let's put it.
Hamilton
that are
County
on
are accepting
PTI?
all volunteers.
Okay, not just people that are on pretrial,
No, this
And
is a
what's
different
it-
type of program. This is to help alleviate the stress of not having volunteers, giving people who may want to change and to do it. It's not like anybody can just come and say, oh, I want to be a part of this program, let me sign up. No, you're gonna have to go through some of the same steps that,
all right, last question. PTI finishes. They're not finished with the training that the program is providing. They say, piss off. My program, my PTI is
this
done.
would be part of their PTI, is the successful completion of the program.
But what I'm
So they
saying,
extend the PTI?
PTI.
PTI has no definite, it depends on what your crime is what you go through. what
PTI
your
can be anywhere
crime.
from 1 month to a year. Okay? So you get somebody who's on PTI for a month, and they say, I want to be part of the fire program. Well, 30 days later, they're done with their PTI.
You're not done if you don't do a successful
Well, then they wouldn't
completion.
be eligible, somebody with only a month is.
See, the whole thing says it has to be successfully completed.
I understand.
If you do not
successful
complete it
completion.
successfully, if you're done with it, then you wouldn't even have been up here anyway.
If
This
you're
is,
not getting my drift. If the program is 6 months, they have 6 months to complete the program. Perfect. If for some reason their attorney goes back, and this does happen in the judicial system, their attorney goes back and says, my boy has been a good boy, and I want to get him off of PTI sooner, and the judge says, oh, wonderful, I'm gonna go ahead and get him off sooner. What happens to his agreement with the program?
then he'd have to pay for his training. All of that will be in their contract. We have a lot of things we're going to implement in. This is just a basic
The judge is,
overview
you know,
of
the judge is gonna do
my
what
problem.
the judge is gonna do.
It's a lot of questions,
This
but
would require the chief judge to sign off on this and approve it. And so this wouldn't be a program, there's other PTIs out there.
Oh, I know
This
about
would be a
PTI.
type that you have to, you know, there would have to be this type of commitment because of the expense and effort that would be
and
involved.
at what point would the program say, you have now completed our portion of the training? Because now there's wildland firefighter, there's firefighter 1, firefighter 2, and so on from there. At what point do we say it becomes your responsibility, no longer our responsibility?
It says that they must be willing to, in order to get expunged from the records and graduate and be eligible, be 24 to 36 months to expect this program to take.
Okay, I have a
It's
question.
not over, not broken.
Oh, I understand that. That's why I'm trying to make sure that we understand that too, and people understand that it's not a quick fix.
So what, my question is, we're voting to explore this further. That's all we're voting to do is explore
So
this
nothing's set in
further.
stone, like we're just in talks about
It's
this.
explored.
That's a good idea.
It gives
It's a
me
good idea to get
and
volunteers.
Mr. Gardner and Leslie permission to go talk to higher ups and to try to push this initiative to see what we will be able to do, what we will not be able to do.
Okay, and then since like it's such an urgent thing to get into, I guess, bed with the county as far as like the fire and rescue go, do y'all have anything like as an agreement with them where they can help train? For
We
us
already
to
talked
lead
about
us?
all of that.
You have done that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's in the contract, yeah, they just can't take it and then not help us train anyone to help take it back over if we wanna take it back over.
What do you mean, the program?
No, not
Oh,
not
the
the
fire department.
Yeah, I'm going back to, you know, the thing that's urgent.
We have each side, if they accept it as it is written, which is more than fair, they have, each side have 180 days notice that they have to give that they want to be out of this agreement.
Okay, so you have 180 days and they would have 180 days.
Yeah, we would have to say, okay, in 180 days, we don't.
And like you said, like, they're not getting anything of ours, they're basically just renting it.
Right. $1 a year.
We're the ones who's gonna be benefiting, basically.
And this is basically.
I just wanna make sure they're also giving something back to our towns, because we're only renting it for,
It's
I
not
know they're
agreement, but they
on
have
fire and
6
rescue
months
over
like
here,
that.
but also training maybe a head fire chief to take over if we ever do wanna take over. Is that something that they are going to be
If, let's
willing
say,
to do?
if the contract is, you know, determined that it's gonna be canceled, and you've
Okay.
got 180 days, that gives plenty of time for the town manager to hire a new fire chief to come in and, you know, work
See what they
alongside.
gotta do, maybe
Yeah.
go ask for a donation for each one of you.
Boot drive out there.
Right.
I mean, because volunteers, they have to go through training, correct?
Yeah. They all have to take the class.
And that's the problem, you used to, you get Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street,
Yeah.
and they could go help carry the hose and all that.
Yeah.
We used to have an awesome volunteer here in town.
Now they have to go through 120 hours, so much of
Yeah, you have to complete Firefighter 1.
before they can even respond.
Okay, because it seems like they're getting a lot from us, and all we really are gonna get from them is their promise to be here on time when there's a fire, be here on time when there's a
If they have,
emergency.
they're
if they
gonna-
have the manpower.
They're gonna be here. at
If they
the fire
have,
station.
yeah. There's gonna be people in
They're
our
gonna be
fire
at,
station.
fire and EMS will be at the fire station.
It'd be like 24/7.
Yeah.
24/7.
But remember now, they get called on 75, they're not gonna be in town, just like we're.
Yeah.
That's understandable, if you're
That is
being
understandable.
dispatched or whatever.
Right now, you're waiting 20 to 30 minutes for fire.
Right.
It's written
That's a
up
long
for
time.
us, yeah, it's written up for us, for them to provide 24/7.
Yes, okay.
Got that house on the ground.
That is better than having to wait 20, 30 minutes and you have a loved one trapped in there.
Right.
20, 30 minutes is a long time for a house to burn.
5 minutes is a long time.
5 minutes is a long time.
When you're
Our
in
little girls
distress.
suffer, and we've given all our stuff to them, and like, we're not getting any, like, a person trained out of the
No.
whole situation,
We're not,
you
we're
know?
not giving it to them, and they got to maintain it, serve it, it's all.
Yes, yes, I
If they-
understand
if we take
that.
it back.
Yeah.
Same way you get it, same way you give it back.
So what we're voting on tonight is this interlocal agreement to be taken to the county to be negotiated. So this is not in
We're
stone.
voting on
Which one you're holding up?
Which one is that?
The one where it's.
The surtax or the-
No, the one that says 24/7. The one that says
The 24/7? Yes.
They'll be here 24/7.
Yes.
So we can't promise you that when we come out of that meeting, we're gonna have everything just like it is in this piece of paper. Because it's gonna have to be a negotiation. Is that
Okay, so it's
right?
in negotiation.
It doesn't have to be, but it might
They
be.
approached the town with this possibility, so we're not just completely kind of making it up.
We didn't pull it
I know, I
out.
don't think
Yeah, you know what I mean, so like, so
Yeah.
there's already kind of like a synergy moving in that direction.
There's already a desire to put
But
the fire department here. I understand, I talked to my uncle several times, he's chief land.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so,
Yeah.
So you already know.
yes.
I just wanna make sure, you know, our town's getting something out of it, just besides, you know, I don't know.
Go ahead.
Gretchen,
I think anything that we get for the interlocal agreement is gonna be better than what we have currently.
Oh, I agree completely.
Period, so that's what we need to vote on. The Phoenix program, that sounds great, we do need to explore it a little bit more and make sure that we have all the appropriate controls. But we need fire and EMS in this town 24/7.
so everybody in this room thinks we should go ahead and sit down and negotiate, try and get this contract, if not, get it as close to this as we can.
Absolutely, and then maybe next year, if we don't wanna redo this, maybe we could have someone that's part of it, that could be watching and training, interning or whatever.
Well, they're taking volunteers. And if he gets X amount of volunteers, he's gonna do the class free.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just the one for free, this is just to help with our volunteers.
It's just a great program.
So
But
just,
you
you
can
know, the
still
program.
get regular volunteers, yes.
Yes.
And maybe be a blessing and change somebody's life.
So is the training spelled out in that document?
Not totally.
Which one for the
24.
program or the 24/7? It is in here that the county would be responsible for the training.
Okay,
And apparently, Chief Land is certified to do training, so that's part of the deal that they would take care of this.
yes,
Simple question, do you think that the town might be able to furnish the people in this room with a copy of that interlocal agreement tonight so that we could see what you all are talking about?
Which one?
The
The
24/7.
We have two.
The one that says 24/7, the one that everybody seems to be leaning towards.
and that's the one y'all gonna be in negotiation with, right?
Hopefully they'll just go ahead and say.
Maybe put it as a PDF on the
The only part that I
webpage.
think that we really would have to
That way you
negotiate
don't
is
have-
between that 75 and 100.
I just don't want us to come back here in a year and we decide this just was not no good, then we're still in the same condition we're in.
I have confidence. to go
With
for
no,
this.
like, chief of staff to take over.
You hear me? I have confidence in Chief Land, so.
Oh, no, I have no problem with it, Henry.
You know, he said he can help us get this done, and
I just want us, yeah, because we don't want to renew
we need
it.
it. I mean.
I'm not
if
saying,
the
I'm saying, we
government
don't
got
want
now,
to.
I'm not email it to you.
Tanika.
Are you at your computer?
You wanna do both of them?
Let me
Will
get it.
you take this and do about 15 copies? Hey, right here.
If you need a copy of this agreement, raise your hand.
Hey, Lee,
Suniki's gonna make a
can
copy.
somebody just put a PDF on the
Yeah, well, I
webpage?
gotta go put it on the website.
That's all I need.
You said, wait,
This is,
I'll send it to you.
yeah, Nathan's like, it's got the Phoenix plan on it.
And I can leave
gonna.
Meeting plan,
Right.
One of my other comments.
And if anybody want because I did bring extra copies of the tax part, the surtax.
Does anybody have questions on the 1 cent, to sign to the county versus either lower the county taxes versus lower the town taxes? Does anybody have anything to speak on that one?
They already did.
They already said, yes.
Okay, so, do we need to go ahead and call for a vote?
I think
So, close the public comment. No, we have to vote.
You got to vote.
Okay.
We have to vote on each one of them.
And
Do we have to do separate?
you have to.
Yeah, It's the okay, you just need to okay. The first one.
I came down here
Okay, so we have resolution 2025-16, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of White Springs, Florida, approving and authorizing the execution of an interlocal agreement with Hamilton County, Florida, relating to the discretionary sales surtax for fire and rescue services, authorizing the mayor and council members to execute the agreement and substantially form attached, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. That one I printed out.
Okay.
That's the resolution that just authorizes all of you to sign the interlocal agreement about the surtax.
I move that we accept resolution 2025-16 as it is written.
Second?
Okay, here's the motion and second that we accept resolution 2025-16. Any discussion?
So is it, I know we're put in a bad spot now because they need an answer by Tuesday and it's, Thursday night already. But is there any way for us to get a sit down with them and just talk about this?
That's what we did last week.
No, we sat in a galley while they talked to us and then it ended. But, this feels more like the beginning than the end. We're like voting on this, kind of hoping something good happens in 6 months. And that's not a good situation.
What is the worst case scenario you see if we vote this in?
The worst case, if we voted in, we'd lose some tax breaks.
Or the value of $1 or something like that.
And we already losing now.
So there is really no worst case scenario?
No.
If we vote on this, like I said, what happens is the tax breaks that would go to the citizens and landowners of White Springs will be diffused across the land holdings of the county. That's basically what will happen.
The tax only can be used for fire rescue either way.
Yeah.
Whether we are the ones doing the fire rescue or them.
Yeah.
If we keep it, then we still have to only donate it to fire and rescue. It's not like we can put it across and go to these different.
Yes, the town council doesn't benefit one way or the other regardless of whether we vote for this. Who benefits and who loses is whether or not we give bigger breaks to the landholders of the county, which we're all landholders in the county because we all pay county taxes, or we give bigger breaks to the citizens of White Springs. The big downside is if some miracle thing comes in that would lower our fire costs below $160,000, we would have money allocated to that we could almost spend on that. From our perspective, another issue would be if this all falls apart in a year, we lower our ad valorem taxes to 0%, it's going to be a political nightmare raising them back up to 6%.
And if
We're not changing anything.
We would have to if we were to vote.
No, that's not what they said. That's not how it was explained. We don't have to change anything
Yes,
dealing with.
if we vote yes and give them the money, then we don't have to change anything else. If we keep the money, we have to lower our ad valorem taxes to match the amount of money coming
But
in.
that'd be next year.
The next budget.
Next budget year.
Yeah,
not too
not
much.
this one.
But even so, if we do that, we lose that much money out of our general fund, correct? Because it would have been paid by the taxes that we no longer can collect, correct?
It
wouldn't know
goes into
that.
the general fund, it just
We
comes in.
wouldn't know that
out.
until next year.
So let me, I'm sorry, Madam Mayor,
Go ahead.
let's think this through. So if you decided not to do the interlocal agreement, and then you've gotta, reduce your taxes, but then they repeal the, sales tax. So then you have reduced your millage, and you're still not gonna get any of the sales tax dollars, because now they, revoked the sales tax ordinance. Is that a
That's right.
That's
Fiscal year, not the fiscal year coming up, but the one after that, we would have plenty of notice that they're repealing it. We would have to reset our ad valorem taxes to 6%, or 6 mils, I mean, not 6%. Which of course would probably get us all fired. So that's,
But see, you won't know that until the legislatures do their part.
which would be
And that'll
March.
be in January, yeah, from January to March. Yes.
I can hear your, concerns. What's your suggestion otherwise?
No, I was just doing a question. I don't understand
No,
most of this.
no, I'm
Robert?
checking with Robert. What's your suggestion otherwise in terms of fire protection for the city?
So I'd
Regardless.
like to see us still go through with making this plan, except instead of us giving them money that came from the ad valorem taxes we paid, it would be money that comes from the surcharge, this surtax. It's kind of just an accounting thing, and it's a tax rate thing. It wouldn't affect the town's plans to improve our
And that's
finances.
in what time frame?
It wouldn't change anything that's going on here, unless we.
No, I'm saying,
Unless we
I'm
fix the
saying,
county off.
when I say it, in what time frame, I'm saying in what time frame would that make a difference in terms of every citizen here having fire protection? Despite whatever the county is willing to bring otherwise.
This wouldn't
What's your
affect
suggestion
any
for-
plans we make here now. This would only affect the allocation of the money from the sales tax.
So when is the county plan, when would the county plan kick in terms of any fire protection?
There is no county plan. There is our plan that we are taking to the county and hoping that they like enough to sign on with us and not, do too much cuts.
So that's what I'm saying. If
That's
there-
not
if they-
quite true.
if-
The plan originally, not cutting you off, was for them to come take over here.
Right,
But right now, it's not financially feasible. So
Okay.
therefore, with the surtax is what they wanted us to sign over to them, because just like we're gonna get it in, it's gonna go out. So it's not like it's gonna be a cushion for us either way. I don't see how we're gonna lose as much as everybody's thinking we're gonna lose. But if we don't take them up on it now,
then you lose.
we're gonna lose, we're definitely
Okay,
gonna lose.
you're definitely gonna lose.
Right.
Any opportunity for them to do fire service.
Right.
We're definitely
So,
gonna lose, so which means we're still gonna have to be facing, $350,000 or more to.
Or no fire protection.
Right.
Okay, so they,
so,
go ahead.
so what's your plan otherwise?
This does not put any extra money in the county.
I'm not saying it's gonna put any extra money in the town. I'm saying, what's your plan otherwise in terms of what, if the county was gonna kick in even in January, by January, what's your plan to have fire protection?
Okay, so the county has the same issue we have with having to lower their ad valorem taxes with this money. They're not going to be able to budget or allocate any additional money for fire. They're gonna have the same $1.2 million fire budget that they will have, whether or not this money gets kicked in. This doesn't affect that.
So you're saying that
We
the
could
county's
do
still not gonna bring,
the
not to
same
cut you
thing.
off, you're saying that the county's still not gonna bring fire protection here, even if you allocate that money?
We don't know what they're gonna do.
They haven't made their
That's my
decision yet.
objection, is we don't know what's going to happen. We are signing this money away like we know what's going to happen.
Okay.
But we're kind of just hoping that they'll do something.
But you got a negotiation in place, in terms of what will actually happen.
Well, Ken,
What will happen if you are putting a plan in place and you're signing off on a plan, you're agreeing to a situation with the county. And if the county is saying, oh, okay, we'll provide whatever it is that they will provide, if you're agreeing to that as a plan,
There's
then
no provision
how
in the
is it
surtax interlocal that makes them give us anything. This is
So
simply
even-
a transfer of the
Services.
surtax to them. There's nothing in the interlocal about the
No,
surtax.
but that was just for the allocation of the money. But what the topic and what the conversation has been up until then, until they find out what's gonna happen with the surtax, they can't say how many people gonna be in White Springs, how long, they can't put a number on the amount of coverage we're gonna have.
So you're saying the
But we will have
surtax,
something, but not, they don't know exactly if they're gonna have fire department every day for,
But that's on the surtax.
No,
But on the
on the
local-
surtax.
But on the local, if we can get them to sign it, we will have 24/7. So this is totally different from
The
this.
surtax would help fund it better if the state do, as they said they would do for these rural counties.
You need copies of the actual wording.
So if we, it's like, it might not be the ideal situation, but it's the better situation for us.
And it's kind of a
It's
good
better to
thing.
have it and
Not
not need
have
it, and they need it and don't have it.
It's like a good faith.
It's three different.
Right, and they're gonna fine tune it later, after they see what's gonna happen, whether they're gonna be allowed that money or not.
but so this gentleman's saying, the tax money or whatever that we're supposed to be getting, we're going to give to the county, and we're not even sure if if they agree to this or not. Is what you're saying? Is that what
So
you're
the way
saying?
that the law came into being, so the way that the law came into being, we voted a ballot initiative, I think it was 2 years ago, to put a 1% surtax on sales. That money was supposed to be allocated for fire. They thought that it would just be money that came in that could be put on fire, but the law says that it has to be written out of their ad valorem taxes.
So they
So
changed
they're
it.
reducing their revenues that they get from tax money by the amount that this 1% is bringing in, which is about $1 million.
But the statute is not
So-
supposed to include the ad valorem statement, but it did. And that's what caused all the craziness.
So their budgets don't change. They'll have the same amount of money regardless of whether it's being funded by county ad valorem taxes or whether it's being funded by surtax money. The only thing that this document changes is who gets tax breaks, whether it goes to the county landholders, which we're all county landholders, if you own land in White Springs, or if it gets centralized to the White Springs landholders.
Okay.
Yes,
I have a question.
yes.
In all of this, where do we get a fire department? Because it's houses being burnt down, and it took 30 minutes for the police to get to my rear residence, got me. That was not without the fire department coming from Columbia and, Jasper and Jim. So my question is, what about White Springs right now? You talk about all these taxes, but houses are getting burned down, and we don't have anybody to come stop it.
And that's what we're
So
trying to do.
that's what I'm saying, and you're saying this tax and that tax, but in the meantime, your people in your county, your city have no protection. They have fire insurance, it's not any good. Because when you go to the fire, when you your insurance on your house, they ask how close is the hydrant. It doesn't matter, because it's gonna take 30 minutes or 45 minutes for you to get a fire truck. So your insurance is going up and up, and y'all sitting up talking about some taxes, but I'm talking about a light.
If we don't do one of these, we're not gonna be able to continue operating like we are.
That's what I'm saying.
That's for sure.
That's why I'm gonna make the lawsuit.
We've got to get some people in here firing, or you got to pay for that $165,000 he's talking about. It would only be a little bit in the bucket of what we'd have to get firing here like you want, like I'd like to see here. But we've got to somehow know, you ask what we lose?
Right.
If we don't go over the county, we don't have a fire service. Unless they accept this temporary interim agreement to have somebody in the meantime.
Why not negotiate with them?
That's what we got to do.
That's what they voted on to negotiate, but you saying they didn't lose, but you're gonna lose lives, you're gonna lose a whole lot more money than $165,000.
There's three issues before it right now. There's the issue of the surtax, the issue of the improved fire department, and then there's the issue of the Phoenix program. We can vote no on the first one and still go for the improved fire department, and still go for the Phoenix project. These are three unrelated things. One is a funding and tax and bookkeeping thing, and the other two are the actual fire department improvements.
So the money you're saying, the surtax or whatever, if we didn't offer it to the county, we could use it towards our Phoenix program and what else? Or no, you can't? Cannot. So
It can only go towards fire, and we cannot, for $170-some of what we're paying now, to fund the fire department that we have. So $166,000 is not gonna really go.
I mean, we all get EOB taxes anyway, so I mean, right?
With respect,
Bruce,
Council, can you please vote on the interim one first? Because that gives us our fire service, madam, on October the 1st. That's the interim arrangement. That's what's been discussed this last hour and a half. Let's do that now, please. The other one that involves the surtax is happening down the road. It's not happening this year. It's to do with juggling money. But the end result is you're still going to have a fire service. So have a fire service now, aka October 1st. Vote on the interim one first. Then that'll satisfy you and most people in this room. Have a fire service that's active, running, up and running. The other thing can take care of itself, whether we vote no or yes, it's still going to take care of itself, period. Thank
So
you.
what is the vote on the table?
The vote on the table is for
resolution
the surtax.
2025-16. Councilwoman Sherman McCall, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Robert Gansby, how do you vote?
No.
Vice Mayor Nicole Williams, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Brown, vote yes. So 3-1, motion carried. Do we agree this other one? Or we just vote on that one?
Well, the interim, doesn't have a resolution, but it's just because it just allows, Mr. Garner, to discuss and negotiate with the county.
I make a motion that we Garner to continue with negotiations for an interlocal agreement between Hamilton County, Florida and the town of White Springs for fire and rescue services.
I second the motion.
Okay, it has been motion and second that we give the town manager, Lee Gardner, to the negotiation with the Hamilton County Commissioners. Councilwoman Sherman McCall, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Robert Gansby, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nicole Williams, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Tony Brown, vote yes. 4-0, it passes.
Now we just have to wait for Mr. Garner to get with the power authorities in Hamilton County, so we know what's gonna happen and how quickly this
That's
is gonna happen.
maybe just consensus to, because that's so far down the road. That's a
Yeah, that's-
consensus that's yeah, I agree with that. There's no consensus to just keep it going.
Agencies to.
If we don't get the county permission, we need more DLP. We need the county buy-in on that before we go to work.
So can you all say to the public what you're discussing now so we can hear you?
I was just asking if we need to vote on the Phoenix, and he said, no, we can wait to vote on that one because we need to go see if the county is gonna be on board with it first.
We already did. Y'all have anything to say?
I just want to say, I think the Phoenix program is a really good idea. I am somebody who believes in rehabilitation, and I don't think our current system does a great job at that, so I like to see, even if it's just at our local level, us trying to help with that program.
Anybody else have anything?
What?
If not,
Hold on, we do, since we do have one public comment, I think we got.
One thing on the Phoenix program, I agree with Rob, is that it should be something that's done, but right now, we don't have fire service. And I think our priorities need to be, let's get a fire service, something we can get going, table this until we are stable with the fire and EMS. I would say, don't take it off the table entirely, you know, but it's gotta wait.
Well, I don't think it's gonna be citywide, I think it's gonna be countywide, and this was just to bring it to the people to say, we're exploring this.
Just give us a heads up. Okay.
I think you got better things to do with your time right now,
We're doing
because you got a lot of stuff to do.
Oh, great.
You're doing it,
Yeah.
And I have, the audit chief.
This is, you know, the bringing that, temporary.
Would that be on?
no,
This is, the local group we talked about, interim here, you don't need to sign this.
The interim, we need to sign?
okay.
Resolution.
Sheriff, everybody else has, yeah.
You know, I refuse to sign the order. Voted on it, voted on sign the order.
Say it lost the vote on this.
And once we sign this, it's not in stone until you bring another one that's
I'm
finished.
going to count
Okay.
that all right, because you can't do it. Which will be first thing in the morning. Email.
Am I a councilman?
Huh?
I'm a councilman?
Whatever.
It was, the others have a name, I just don't have names. I just didn't see any woman.
Just an FYI, we're 10 minutes into the special events committee starting.
Yes. Way overdue.
Way over.
Well, I apologize for this. I hope you understand your trying.
Did anybody else have anything to say?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
I second the motion.
The meeting was motion and second to be adjourned. 6:40.